I'm not saying that you're... I'm not saying that. What I am trying to figure out is why would you tell an 18-year-old kid when he gets a on to lean against you so you know that he has a on?
I'm trying my best to explain to you what I did or where I was. I know I didn't kill him.
You know, you put yourself in those stupid positions and you don't think about what you're doing because you think you're helping somebody.
This is 31-year-old Father Ryan Erickson, and after this interrogation, he would do the unthinkable. On a cold February afternoon in 2002, two shots shattered the silence inside the O'Connell funeral home, brutally ending the lives of director Dan O'Connell and intern James Ellison. For 2 years, the investigation into this double homicide stalled after yielding nearly 2,000 interviews. That was until a 2004 tip about a priest's misconduct with teens gave detectives a new reason to question Roman Catholic priest Father Ryan Erickson. What follows next is one of the most disturbing and despicable cases of people who are supposed to do good doing evil I've ever encountered. Father Erickson was a 31-year-old Catholic priest with a known fascination for firearms and a troubling pattern of providing alcohol to teenage boys. He had last seen Dan O'Connell just days before the murder, a meeting that investigators believed involved a confrontation over Erickson's inappropriate behavior with minors. This encounter placed the priest in direct, recent contact with one of the victims under highly tense circumstances. Detectives brought Father Erickson in for questioning about the double homicide.
Do you know who killed Dan O'Connell and James Ellison?
I have no idea.
If you knew, would you tell us?
If I knew, and it was outside the sacrament of reconciliation, I would tell you. And nobody came to me saying they killed James Ellison or Dan O'Connell.
When they press him on his movements from the day before and after the incident, his lies began to unravel. He cannot keep his story straight, mixing up timelines and inventing details that collapse under the slightest scrutiny.
Back to some of the things that we talked about in your recollection of that day, there's some discrepancies in what we've heard both times.
You made another stop prior to that. Did you go back to the church?
I would have come up and said to Ellen that I was going to be gone or I'd be back shortly or whatever, and then would have gone up and to the tobacco shop and then come back, and that's when I saw Ellen.
At that point, if you didn't know, Ryan, if a priest had gone up there or not, why didn't you go?
I think that's when I think I did go up there, but I can't recall. I really can't. I know that I went up there, and I know that it was up there a number of times, and I know that I saw, or I think I saw Father DeBruzzi up there. Or somebody told me he was there, one of the two. And that's when I thought, well, if DeBruzzi's there, DeBruzzi's there. He's up at the funeral home. And when I had gone up again to look, that's when I was told to keep moving.
He provides yet another inconsistent version of his trip to the tobacco shop, and this new account directly conflicts with what he stated just moments before.
To visit in Hurley, you had mentioned, and this is a pretty significant thing, but you had mentioned what you heard about number of shots, placement of shots. Do you remember saying that?
I don't remember saying anything about placements of shots or anything.
I mean, as far as where on the bodies, you had indicated to me.
Well, I thought I had said that maybe one shot or something, but I wasn't sure of how many shots or even where the placement of the shots would be.
You don't recall saying that, or you didn't say it?
Well, I don't think I said anything about it. I think I remember you asking the question, and I said, well, I wasn't exactly sure, but yeah, I'm not sure how I answered.
Do you know where they were shot?
If we were telling you that there's people that have come forward since our conversation, we're going to go back and talk to people, that they said that they saw you coming back to the church, northbound on Wisconsin Street. Can you explain that to us?
No, I can't. I could have come back that direction. Like I told you guys, I wasn't sure as to what directions I was taking. And so when I was sitting there talking with you, I'm trying to come up with the best plan in my mind of where was I going and what was I doing. But Maybe I came back on that road. I really don't know.
But you would have went by the funeral home again.
I really don't remember.
Knowing the exact placement of the shots is information that only select detectives and the killer would possess. How could he possibly have known? The coincidences are hard to reconcile, so they give him a sketch of the area.
When you saw Sergeant Jensen, was that on your initial way through?
I think that was on it was later in the day.
Later in the day?
Yeah.
When you came back? You went through the first time and you came back?
I think that's when I went off to the sisters then. I think that's when I went off to the sisters.
Okay, before you went back to the church?
No, this would be the second time when I came through, or third time.
Okay, let's talk about the first time here. So you went through, and then you left, and you went up to the church, and something happened.
Yeah, they said somebody had gotten hurt or something had happened, and I could have swore they said Dan had gotten hurt.
Dan got hurt, or Dan got killed.
I'm not sure exactly what she said, but it could be Dan was killed or Dan got hurt or something happened at the funeral home. Something like that was said.
Okay.
Conveniently, he was without his cell phone on that trip and didn't remember if he saw the person he spoke to. He dodges every attempt by the detectives to accurately draw his route on a map. There were a lot of holes in his story, and they kept poking at them.
Do you know where they were shot?
I thought I had heard by his desk and in some doorway.
Never once has anybody from the Hudson Police Department ever mentioned where the bodies were, positions, etc. Nor in the course of this investigation through 1,900 and some people has anybody ever brought up a speculation, a probability, a possibility, or anything like that as far as where the bodies were. Nor has anybody told us how many times they were shot or where they were shot. If that hasn't been brought up in 1,900 some interviews, and out of the course of 5 people in our department that knew exactly that, and not even he knows where that was, why do you know that?
I don't know why I know that.
Or why are you giving us information that this is what you heard?
Well, this is what I had heard. You ask me a question, I tell you the answer. So if I overheard that and I didn't tell you, then I'd be lying to you. So I tell you what I hear, in the sense that if I heard these things, where it was, I'm not sure, or if it was just idle chit-chat or what it was, that's all I'm telling you.
They then change the conversation to his gun history, and a third detective watching across the room chips in. Here, the entire atmosphere of the interrogation changes drastically.
Here, I feel like I'm in a movie, and I don't like what I'm experiencing. Okay, I don't like it, quite frankly. When asked for you to explain where you were or what you were doing or this kind of stuff, you would say, I would be doing, as though you are abstracting or as you are not actually saying, I was here, I was here, I was here. Okay. And it sounds like wiggle room to skeptics like me. Okay. And, it appears, if I were going to be unkind or honest, okay, you have selective memory. Okay. Granted, I will agree that people, several years have passed and whatever else, but I don't think fellows were that long away from you from the last interview. Okay. And so things have shifted and all this kind of stuff. And I realize that it can be a tense time while you're here. And I don't expect you to be relaxed. Okay. I'm going to tell you straight up. You sound like you're lying. Okay.
I'll tell you straight up, I'm not. Straight up, I'm not.
And I think that I'm just more direct than maybe they're not thinking the same thing I am, but I'm telling them at the same time. Okay. If I were sitting in their chairs, okay, we would be having a different conversation. Your recall is not explainable, or your lack of recall is not explainable. Okay, it just isn't. Okay, you put yourself into a difficult position that's very difficult to support. Okay?
How about a polygraph?
They're the men.
How
Ask
about a
them.
polygraph?
I'd take a polygraph.
Would you?
As long as you keep the right to those specific questions, perfectly fine.
Specific questions mean.
Well, I'm just saying, did you kill Dan O'Connell? We're not speculating on all kinds of other stuff. If you make it point blank clear, I'll take a polygraph.
Okay. Would you be willing to come down? Obviously, with the stuff that we have, and to help us out. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's what
I would come down.
you would come down.
I'd make arrangements with the bishop. We'll make sure that we get things covered, and I'll come down.
Would you consent to a search of your residence?
Sure.
This detective definitely sounds very experienced, and his tone transformed this interrogation into a direct confrontation with Erickson. And if you wonder, wearing the religious robe is not illegal, but as the detective said, it's probably with the intent to dehumanize Erickson and maintain his high figure during the interrogation that he's wearing it. Erickson is then questioned about a sketchy situation involving a minor. But before continuing, a word from our sponsor. If you've ever wished payday came sooner, this might actually help. There's a banking app called Current with a bunch of useful features, and one of the main ones lets you access up to $750 of your paychecks early if you qualify. With Current, you get a full set of features like Paycheck Advance, fee-free overdraft, the Build Card, and more. Paycheck Advance is my favorite, but if you're focused on building credit or just want a smoother way to manage your money, it handles everything in one app. I actually liked the app myself, which is why I partnered with them. And right now, they're giving $75 to anyone who signs up using my link or scans the QR code on screen. If you scan the QR code, it'll take you straight to the sign-up page where you can create your account. Just go through the normal sign-up steps, enter your information, and order your Current card. After you complete those steps, you'll see the option pop up to enter my promo code, JUDGE, which unlocks the $75 bonus when you switch your direct deposit. So make sure you go through the full sign-up process so you don't miss it. If you ever feel like managing money is stressful or tight sometimes, it's definitely worth just checking out because that's literally what it's designed for, helping people like you stay more on top of their finances.
We have a concern also with some things that, do you have any idea why he would come to the Hudson Police Department and discuss something? What was your relationship with him?
Friends. I helped him out with, what do you call it?
How close of friends were you with him?
Just friends.
Did he ever become highly intoxicated and get sick?
He did.
Tell me about that.
Well, he got sick, and so I went and I put him into the shower, took his clothes and got his clothes washed, and then brought him back and then put him to bed.
It's a crazy world when a priest hands out alcohol to a minor and then bathes them, a situation that had Father Ryan as their legal guardian, and yet on more than one occasion, he was an abuser who took advantage of minors. The priest tried to escape every question, but the detectives were onto him.
Just once?
Just one time, yeah.
For permission. Then after
No,
that,
I don't know his permission.
Okay.
I don't know if he asked either.
You knew that he was underage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, you still provided alcohol to him at their house. They gave him alcohol. Wine? You know he was underage then also, correct?
Yeah.
Did you ever intervene? Say, do not give him the alcohol?
No, I did not.
Why wouldn't you intervene as a priest to give an 18-year-old kid alcohol? People are looking up to you. People have to respect you. Is there any legal reason why you would allow that to happen?
Father Ryan's silence is deafening. Detectives already knew about past allegations of sexual misconduct dating back to his seminary days, allegations that had been cleared after a psychological evaluation at the time. They then press him even more.
Talk to me laid on the bed together.
There was a time when we laid on the bed talking about things of confession and trying to assure him that he wasn't as evil as he thought he was, or that his mother thought he was, and that was primarily it. I held him at one part as he was crying. I held him and said to him, that everything would be fine. Don't worry, God loves you, and reassured him about those things.
Anything else you want to add to that before I ask you about something else?
No, that's.
The detectives aren't buying it. They ask him harder about this history now, noting how he responds to these questions far more openly than to those about the murder.
You told him it was okay to become aroused when he was with you.
I told him it was okay to be aroused because I wanted to get across to him that that's not sinful in itself. That's not sinful to be aroused. And too often what happens is they get caught up in this idea that that's sinful in and of itself. And I said, it's what you do when you're aroused. It's the things that you do.
But he told us that he said he was supposed to lean against you so you knew that he was aroused and everything was okay. Why would you tell him that?
The only thing I was trying to get across to him was to tell him that arousal was not a bad thing.
I'm not saying, that you're... I'm not saying that. What I am trying to figure out is why would you tell an 18-year-old kid when he gets a on to lean against you so you know that he has a on?
Because I wanted him to get past the shame, the idea that this is a bad thing, that we have to hide these kind of things.
Tell me again why he was supposed to lean up against you when he was aroused. Just help my mind, enlighten me on that.
I have no explanation other than to say what I was trying to do was to get him to see that that is not evil. It's not bad. It's not wrong. And if he, I don't know. That's.
Have you had any sexual contact with another man?
No.
How about with a woman?
No.
Have you ever had any sexual contact with a child?
No.
A juvenile?
No.
Hearing such words coming out of a priest is sickening, but Father Erickson's memory isn't foggy on this matter. He even remembers the clothes he wore on that night with the juvenile.
What do you think should happen to the person who killed Dan O'Connell and James Ellison?
I think they should be put away for a long time. For life.
Okay, what do you mean put away?
Locked up in the jail.
You don't know who killed Dan O'Connell?
No, I don't know who killed Dan.
Do you know why he was killed?
No, I don't know why he was killed.
Why was James Ellison killed?
I don't know.
Based on things that you've told us before, you're talking about the placement or where the bodies were and that type of thing. Do you think somebody just got in the way when somebody else wanted to shoot somebody else? Is that why there's two persons dead instead of one?
I don't know.
For those of you who don't know, the nature of the killings executed at close range suggested a deliberate act by a skilled individual. In a small town like Hudson, there were only so many people with that specific expertise.
Is a person, whoever kills another person, intentionally kills somebody, not in self-defense, are they ever going to be forgiven?
They can be if they repent of their sin. If they're sorry for what they did, if they're really and truly sorry, they can be forgiven.
If we said that we still have to clear up some things with you, told you things have become problematic here, okay? Some of the discrepancies, we've told you some of those, and we're trying to clear those up. How can you go about helping us clear those up? Because what you said sometimes, it wasn't that long ago, was it, when we came and talked to you?
I've thought about it since then. Those kind of things keep going through your mind as I sat there listening. I kept thinking, okay, now, did I do that? Didn't I do that? Did I go this way? Didn't I go that way? And so after you guys left, I started evaluating it all over again in my mind. Did I go that way? Didn't I go that way? What did I do?
He claims a complete lack of memory for that entire period, his selective amnesia returning at the most convenient moment, and the detectives have had enough, so they let him know some irrefutable facts.
And you stayed until the end of second shift, which you says is 12:30?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't arrive back to the church until nearly 3 o'clock that afternoon. I want to know where you were. Where did you go? They told you were not at the church.
Well, I'm not sure.
We got to have an. You told us before you knew right where you went, Ryan.
I thought I did. I thought I knew where I was going.
We have a void from what you say is 12:30 until other persons say you did not arrive
Did
back to the church.
any of them say what time that I left? Do any of them know what time I left?
They.
Meaning
what we have to
Ellen
do
or somebody.
is you tell us or try to help us. Where would you go for that length of time on a weekday during the middle of the day if Father Peter was vacationing?
It could be anywhere. I could have gone. I know I wasn't there, but it was typical for me.
When you open up your day planner, there was nothing on your day planner.
It's not untypical for me to go out and go to Leaflet Missile, to go to the chapel.
Okay. Where is Leaflet Missile?
Over in the cities. But that I know I wasn't there that day. I'm almost sure.
Okay.
But I'm just saying it's not uncommon for me to just leave the office and go.
You left the school, but where did you go to?
I could have gone. I know that I went to tobacco. I remember the tobacco.
You didn't go to the church. You didn't tell anybody up at the church where you're going. They tried to make contact with you. They were looking for your assistance up at the funeral home. You were nowhere to be found.
I remember what I told you, or at least I remember as much as I can remember that I told you. I know that I went up that way. I know that I saw something was wrong at the funeral home, and I know I was going to the tobacco shop. And I can't account for that time that's missing in your chunk. I know I didn't kill him.
Hey, it's not missing in my chunk. It's in your hands.
Well, I know that, but I mean, what I mean is I don't know how to give you that missing detail of where I was during that time period.
This is a common tactic suspects use, attempting to explain away gray areas in their schedule by claiming vague or unverifiable activities like praying alone or going for a long drive. It is largely ineffective because it provides no tangible alibi and instead highlights their evasiveness.
I do in rare cases, and I don't in most cases.
How about this case?
In this case, my personal opinion is no.
Why?
Because the death penalty, I think, is reserved to those who cannot be reformed and those who have been so heinous of crime, like serial killers and the like.
What makes you think that isn't the case here?
Well, I don't think it's a serial killer.
Or a heinous crime?
How do you know they could be reformed?
Well, I don't. You asked me for my opinion. I told you my opinion.
About the death sentence?
Yeah.
So you think the person that killed Dan O'Connell and James Ellison should not die because you feel that they can be reformed?
I don't know. I would say that the person who killed them, I believe in life, and no, they should not be. Whoever it is should not be killed.
Just locked up for a long time.
Forever.
Not shocking, it goes in line with his belief that the killer can be forgiven. Prior to this interrogation, the police had been searching for his whereabouts. He admitted that he knew about it, but was waiting for their call. That doesn't seem like what an innocent priest willing to cooperate with law enforcement would do.
They wanted to know how their dad died. How would you explain that?
Well, if I was asked to explain to them how their dad died, I would say tragically. I don't know what I would say. I'm not sure how I would approach that. It would depend on the circumstance in which they were brought in and said, "Father, could you please explain to them or talk to them about this? They're having a hard time." I might talk to them about how God does allow certain things to take place, or I might talk about how he's now in heaven with God, and he's happy and watching over them. I probably would keep it at a very level that would be not talking about specifically what happened to him or that kind of thing, but talking about, hey, Dad's now in a better place. He's there watching over you. He's still present to you. That's how I would talk to him. Wanted something different, in the sense of talk to them about the shooting. And then at that case, I would say, go talk to Father Peter.
Why would you want to talk to Father Peter?
Well, because I wouldn't know what to say. I wouldn't know where to go. I'm not an expert in that kind of field. I'm an expert in the God field. I can talk about, God's love and and the hope of everlasting joy. But I wouldn't know where to begin with counseling a child about their dad dying, especially in a very tragic way like that.
Why do you think God allowed this to take place?
I have
the killing of Dan and James?
I have no idea. The only thing I can tell you there is I know that he allowed it to take place because nothing is done without God's allowal. Why? I don't know.
He rationalized the murder by coldly stating that God must have allowed it to happen. Framing the brutal act as part of a divine plan beyond human judgment is a theological justification that strips away any sense of personal responsibility. Seeing this, the detective off camera chips in again.
That you're quite willing to tell us your faults in some areas, such as lack of social skill or desirability or adaptability or whatever it is, or basically, I hear you talk about nerves and bits and pieces and all this kind of stuff. Okay? You're on the inside of you. I'm not. I don't know what you're thinking. Okay? But when I listen to you, okay, I see less nervous as in anxiety, anger, all this emotional kind of stuff. I really see it coming down to kind of like power issues that you don't want to be made a fool of.
No, because I really have been made a fool and I don't like it. But I've had that happen and that's not no. I don't want to be accused of something that I did not do.
Sure.
And that's where I'm at.
Help me out a little bit because I'm still I'll give people vocations, and I have strange vocations too, and all these other sorts of things, okay? If you don't want to kill anything, okay? I find it a strange thing to be an aficionado of guns, which are designed to kill things, okay? And, what satisfaction is there, besides petting them, can one get from owning those guns if one doesn't really use them?
Well, I do use them. I went out hunting this last time. I haven't been hunting for a while because of where I've been stationed, such as in the seminary. You just didn't have time to do that.
Sure.
And being in Hudson, I didn't have in fact, I did go out hunting in Hudson a few times. Went out small game hunting, and I believe I did tell you that when you were there.
A priest and a gun enthusiast, two identities that should clash, yet he blends them with unsettling ease. He explains his fascination, even acknowledging the glaring contradiction of a man of God finding solace in instruments designed for violence.
And being in Hudson, I didn't have in fact, I did go out hunting in Hudson a few times. Went out small game hunting, and I believe I did tell you that when you were there. Made it pretty clear that I went out small game hunting. I have license. You can check that with whatever. And I think it goes all the way back 3-4 years that I was small game hunting. But so
more basic, what's the satisfaction of shooting?
Well, I like to eat what I shoot.
Besides
That's the number one thing. I do like to eat squirrel quite a bit. And
if after you have been exonerated from your sins that you may confess, okay? Does guilt go away?
I don't think so. I think guilt always remains with you. At least I found that the things that I've done, the guilt is always there. And the reason is, at least the way that I rationalize it in my own mind, is that that's God's way of saying, don't do that again.
Right.
I think the way I counsel people and tell people when they come into the confessional, I say guilt is a good thing. It means you have a conscience.
He is then asked more questions about his history. Detectives want to know whether he's had confessions for his sins and what is the limit of the laws he has broken in his lifetime.
What's the worst thing that you think that you have ever done that's been illegal?
The worst thing I've done that's illegal is giving those kids stuff to drink when I know I shouldn't have.
Going back to a firearm that would be used to kill Dan and James. Do you know where that firearm is?
No.
Has anybody ever told you where that gun is?
No.
There's nobody in Hudson.
No.
Have you ever told yourself where the gun is?
Tell myself what the gun is. No.
If you think everything that you've seen is crazy, this next part is even worse.
I believe that if the person knows his suicide is wrong and they commit it, I believe it's in God's hands. I believe it's merciful. Ultimately, what I believe is that they don't go to heaven. That's what I believe. But there are other factors that play into that, such as were they thinking in the right frame of mind. But just on the very basis of the suicide itself, I would say that it would be just no.
Are you gonna, besides the two folks that are with you this evening, are you gonna tell anybody else that the law enforcement talked to you
Should
tonight?
I or shouldn't I?
December 7th. I'm asking you, are you gonna tell anybody?
I may tell my mother. I'll call the bishop.
What are you gonna tell the bishop?
Well, I'll just tell him that you questioned me on these different things. I'll immediately tell him that there was an accusation made against me because I got to do that. And
An accusation made about what?
well, the way you made it sounded like there was a sexual allegation made against me. If there's a sexual allegation made against me, I got to tell the bishop so that I could be removed from my position and go through all that crap. Which
Did anybody ever, did we hear in this room?
that's what I was surmising.
Okay. Did you have the alcohol thing?
Well, that's what I mean. That alcohol
The
thing.
whole,
Yeah.
you'd have to contact the bishop over that?
If there was an accusation made, I have to tell the bishop.
What will be the consequences of that?
Immediate removal from the parish.
Ever contact the police department?
As soon as he'd know that you knew, so he would then contact the police department too.
Turns out he had once checked with a psychiatrist whether he had an alcohol problem, but was deemed fine. Father Erickson also had brutal clarity on what would happen in the coming days.
I just know that I did not kill James Dan O'Connell. Did not happen.
Did you kill Dan?
I did not kill Dan.
Did you kill him?
No, I did not. I have no reason to want to kill Dan O'Connell. We never had any bad words towards one another. We never talked poorly to one another. There was never any confrontation between us. There was no reason for me to kill Dan O'Connell.
Okay. He came to our police department.
Mm-hmm.
We had a nice visit. That's just something that has come up through as part of the investigations.
Okay.
Because come up. There's some other things that that people come to us.
Mm-hmm.
They want to help.
Sure.
They want to assist us. They want to help
Yeah.
the community, the family, law enforcement. And there's going to be a whole lot more people coming to us.
Sure. Well, I understand.
Over this. How well publicized it's been a national
Oh yeah, no, I understand that. I've got to call the bishop, and I have.
You have to tell him whatever you feel that you have to tell him.
Well, if the kid's making an accusation, I have to tell him that the accusation is made.
If the bishop would call us, what should we tell him?
Well, you have to tell him what was said. Whatever he presents is what has to be, and that's automatically.
How about what you said?
It doesn't matter. In the eyes of the bishop, it does not matter. The charter is very clear, and so what matters is what the person making the accusation has.
The detectives let him know that this was an unofficial questioning and that no formal complaint was made. His actions at this stage of the investigation can make a huge difference in how things turn out. So while they issued a warrant to search his vehicle, they did it as casually as possible.
You're good.
Sure.
He's good. He's good. He's good.
You're giving that away.
Uh-huh.
Don't.
I want to tell you something. If you want help,
No. I'm not.
this guy's here. I'm not looking at you as a priest. Don't look at me as law enforcement, man to man.
No, I'm
Okay.
fine. It's just a matter.
Are
I
you
gotta.
sure that? Because right now there's got to be about a bazillion things racing through your mind.
Oh,
If there is something that we can help you with, now's be the time, because we do have some folks up here that we know that if you want to go speak to somebody, or anything like that.
It's a matter of dealing with
You're
the
done.
bishop, just talking to the bishop. That's all.
I just wouldn't tell him.
Oh gosh, I can't think it. I really honest. That makes my gut kind of turn.
Tell him because it's not been formalized. You wait till it's formalized.
But under the law, I'm a mandatory reporter and all these other things. And we just had a session on this.
Yeah.
All I can say is that when we were up here investigating, of course, the double homicide and other things that do come in during the course of this, like we've told you before, we've talked to over 1,900 people. That's a lot of people.
Yep.
You hear a lot of things.
Yep.
Lots of things.
I know, but
And from there, it's kind of our responsibility,
I understand. I'm not
to
holding
ask
anything
you.
against you guys.
I'm not saying
That's not what
that
I do.
anybody, at this point, I'm not saying that anybody wants you arrested.
But even if the
I'm just saying that
accusation is made,
somebody came forward
and
with
what
that.
and what I'm saying though is, if they came arrested or not, that.
But if he just came in and said, well, I just want this on file in case if it's ever needed for the future. Just put it that way.
I think we're splitting
I'm just
hairs and it makes
I'm just
my
laying
guts
that.
just churn.
Okay, I'm just laying that in your hands.
It gives you choices.
Okay,
You do with it what you want.
Choices.
I'll tell you this. I'll guarantee you, we are not going to leave here.
Oh,
You all right?
it's
We're not going to leave here. Go back home tomorrow morning after we get done with our 5-mile jog. Go up and call the bishop and say, "Hey, guess what? We talked to Father Ryan last night. You know what he said? That's not happening, Ryan. That's not happening."
But the point is that I feel like I would be.
I'm going to
have to just think about it.
We are not calling him.
Again, it's not a matter of that though. It's a matter of. It's more of a moral issue. This person said this, therefore. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's not a matter of tattletaling on me or anything. It's a matter of, am I going to have the integrity to tell the bishop? You see?
No, I understand.
If he wants to call us, if you do decide, and we don't care what you do.
Father Erickson talks about integrity and doing the right thing with a seriousness that shows he was terrified of the thought. Since the questions ended, he started talking more to himself than to the detectives. He looked utterly battle-worn as he contemplated his own responsibility and whether he should formally report the matter himself. Seeing his state of mind, the detectives try to calm him down. They explain that their focus is the murder, and it wasn't a formal complaint.
I don't know where I was between 12:30 and 3 o'clock, other than to say that I was up. I know the tobacco shop.
Let me ask you one question, an honest question, and you can even ask it of me. If you were pissed off enough to shoot someone,
and kill him. And I asked you, if you did it, would you tell me or Jeff?
If I did it right now,
What would your answer be?
if I did it, and I've been living with it for this long, and you guys had me cornered here, I'd break. I'd tell you. I know I would. And the reason is because I think the guilt would be so overwhelming. I really
If
do.
you could get away with it, would you tell us?
No. Yeah, I mean, if I could get away with it,
Yes.
probably no. I mean, I'd try to get away with human nature says you try to get away with it. But I personally myself, I would tell you. I really believe that. I believe that if I did something that heinous, I would tell you because I don't think I could live with myself.
Just days later, on December 19th, 2004, Father Erickson took his own life. During a search of his computer days earlier, police found illegal images hidden in a deeply buried file path. My pictures/folder/holy mass prayers/mass prayers/new folder. Last accessed on December 12th, just days before his death. A John Doe hearing was later held, where a judge officially ruled Erickson responsible for the double homicide. The full, tragic story finally came together as a deacon testified that Erickson had confessed, saying, "I done it and they were going to catch me." This matched the account of a school bus driver who stated O'Connell had asked if she had ever seen the priest touch a inappropriately. He also mentioned a meeting with the priest that afternoon and was warned not to go alone. In one of his last notes, he wrote, "I've lived a hard but exciting life. I learned and I taught. I helped people and I hurt them, but I never killed anyone. My ego, my pride, my lust, my envy have always stopped me from being the best person I could be. I am tired." Father Erickson had killed to silence the funeral director and eliminate a witness. In a final, cruel twist, the only member of the clergy to call on the widow in the 2 years after the murder was Ryan Erickson, the murderer. If you enjoyed our production, make sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.